You're listening to the Personal Development Through Martial Arts podcast, the podcast where the world's highest personal development experts and martial arts masters come together to empower and inspire you to become your strongest self and live the life that you truly want. Join host Bogdan, Rosu, author, public speaker, and the founder of the first personal development through martial arts school in the world, in the podcast where you become the hero. We're here with Aleksander Vitkin, and I'm very excited to talk about the idea of taking yourself from a freelancer mentality, job, whatever, towards a business owner mentality. Aleksander, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Just on a short trip here, but decided that it's definitely worth time to make some time for this interview.
Yeah, thank you so much for setting some time aside to talking about this. Tell us a bit about yourself, how you started out, and how did you make the shift from freelancer towards business owner, implementing systems, delegating, and doing everything that you need to do to get there.
So actually, when I started, I had just graduated school, and I thought, or I got told, that now I am knowledgeable about business because I studied business. I have 2 degrees in business. So then I went into the real world, and everyone else was getting jobs, and I said, oh, I don't really want to do that because I've been reading all these books about entrepreneurship, Think and Grow Rich, those types of standard books, 4-Hour Workweek, etc. And I thought, actually, I don't want to get a job. And I told people this, and they said, "You're fucking crazy. What are you doing? Of course you need a job. You need experience. You can't just build a business from day one." And I said, No. I studied business. Of course I'm going to build a business. Isn't that what it's for? Isn't that why we studied business? And then I went into business as a consultant because, again, I thought I knew stuff, so I can consult people. And very quickly, I realized that I actually didn't know anything. In fact, business owners straight up laughed in my face, most of them.
Yeah.
So I was pretty good at giving presentations like PowerPoints and whatever, but I didn't actually know what I was talking about. And I was pretty much wasting people's times.
It's funny that a lot of people who attend or go to business school and actually end up, just working in jobs. And I remember my first business mentor saying that when he went to his first year of college, he asked the teachers there, how many businesses are you running? And they were like, I'm not running any businesses. And then he just realized that it was a complete waste of time to learn from people who are not actually practicing what they preach, right? So how did you actually, getting that kind of feedback, what did you do after that? What followed after that?
Well, what happened was I went to actual business owners, and they said, what you're doing is bullshit. However, some of them ended up just probably out of pity paying me a few $100s for some small projects. And very quickly I realized, I actually don't do anything. It's within 2 months was obvious. But during those 2 months, now looking back, I learned more than in 4 years of getting 2 college degrees in business. 2 months, 4 years. It's huge. I could have saved so many freaking months. I could have saved just a huge amount of time, productive time, when I was even younger and more energetic. And instead I was sitting in a classroom, mostly not even paying attention, just passing all the exams, of course, but mostly not paying attention.
Yeah.
I think the average student pays attention just a few hours in a single day, and the rest is kind of just flies by them, and they just study for the exams later on. So after that, I spent 2 more years doing that, just trying cold calling, trying email marketing, trying to sell websites, trying to sell SEO, trying to sell explainer videos, trying to sell anything that I can possibly imagine. And at the same time, I was trying to build an SEO blog. At the same time, I was trying to sell stuff on Amazon. In short, in the first 2 years, I actually made a loss in my business. I didn't make money. I lost money. So then I had to get a job for 8 months just to pay back the loan. The loan from, well, it doesn't matter from where. But basically, it was also the economic recession. So it was probably not a very good time to start a business.
Yeah.
Most people just didn't have any money, or that's how it seemed to me back then. So then I got a job, 8 months, paid back the debt, made a little bit of extra cash because I wasn't spending on anything. I just was piling up the cash.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, I'm going to travel and I want to have some time off. And my boss said, time off? No, this is your first year of work here. Like, what do you mean? Work 2 years, maybe then you'll get some time off.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm out. See you. Booked a plane ticket to Barcelona. Haven't ever been to Barcelona. Just rented a tiny little room. Turned out all my roommates were drug dealers. I don't know. Like,
Must have been a fun trip.
If we rent a cheap room, sorry.
Must have been a fun trip.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't a trip. I stayed there for an extended period of time. So after that, I kind of just looked around for a good 6-7 months, and I found mentors. I found mentors who are actually knowledgeable about it, all this stuff, and they said, "Look, you're okay. I mean, you're not the smartest kid ever, but you're okay. So we'll help you a little bit. You know, here's how you actually do stuff. Here, meet some millionaires, meet some billionaires." And I'm like, oh my God, the co-founder of Twitter, shook his hand, whatever. But it's just inspirational. And then I'm like, wait a second. Everything that I've been doing was just the slow path to success. And it's not actually how the real world works. So then I started getting actual results in business. But still, I was mostly a freelancer.
So you were still coaching people in running their businesses?
No, I was not coaching people. No, I was not coaching.
What was your business?
I didn't coach anyone until I was 6 years in business.
Okay, so what was your business when you went to, or after going to Barcelona? What were you doing as a business?
High level consulting and freelance work. So high level recruitment, recruitment systems, building marketing processes, funnels. Dealing with complicated setups of companies and just meetings, and how to organize meetings, how to make decisions correctly. I was basically, at a certain point, I was like a freelance marketing director for companies. We took companies from 2 to 7 million. We took companies from 400K to 800K and so on.
Awesome. So, in other words, what you're saying is that instead of just wasting time trying to do everything by yourself, it's better to surround yourself by mentors who are already doing what you want to do. How did you get in that circle of mentorship?
I emailed people and I asked them, and they said, okay.
What did you offer in exchange for them?
I offered my services in exchange. I said, here's what you can do. It's detailed email. Here's a whole plan. Here's how to achieve these goals. I emailed like everyone. Like there's an email in inbox of probably half the companies in Silicon Valley back then. Probably most of them don't exist anymore. And a bunch of companies that I was involved in other ways, whose products I was buying, for example. And then one of them replied. One single person replied after 5 months, to be honest. So before that, I was doing mostly online stuff. Before that, I'd never met anyone. It was just online. But after that, it was in person. So it was a huge shift in the way that I was learning and progressing. It sped up the process by a lot.
How many emails did you send?
Of course, now there's better,
more or less.
Sorry, now there's a better way of doing things. Like this, like don't do this, guys. There's no point doing it these days. Much better ways of doing things right now.
Awesome. So how did you shift your mentality from being a freelancer towards becoming a business owner?
So at a certain point, I decided that, okay, so what I'm doing now is pretty much selling my time. It's freelancing. And if I keep doing that, I'm basically building other people's stuff forever. And I'll never have anything for myself. I won't have any assets. I'll just have a little bit of money on a bank account. Hopefully I can invest a little bit, and it's not even that much. And maybe someday I'll be rich. But what I'm really passionate about is entrepreneurship. And what I was really passionate about is helping people succeed. At first, I actually just wanted to do higher level consulting than that. I wanted to just upgrade the level of consulting I was doing. So I started a YouTube channel. And on YouTube, I was talking about just all the stuff that I know, which turns out was quite a decent amount of stuff that I knew, that I've learned over 6 years. So everyone who was messaging me, I was getting on calls, right? So at a certain point, you can still look it up on my Facebook. I said, I've been doing all these videos. What do you guys actually want from me? Because one of my mentors, he said he owns a $100 million company. He asked me, cool, you made some videos. Clap, clap, clap. For 2 weeks, you made daily videos. I'm very happy. Where's your fucking sales? So the first thing I posted on my Facebook, you can still look it up, is I've been doing this for 2 weeks. What do you guys actually want? People told me what they want. They wanted one-on-one consulting, one-on-one coaching. So I got them on calls, made like $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 in a month, just selling calls, consulting calls. Some of them were business owners, but most of the people who got on calls, they said, I don't own a business. What do I actually do? And I'm like, oh God, no, I don't want to build a business about coaching, not coaching. Because especially back then, but also now, it was a really dirty industry with very low success rate. And it was coaching or info marketing or whatever equaled scam back then.
Okay.
Well, I really didn't want to do it, but there was such an overwhelming demand. And of course, I know marketing. You know, I have a decent level of marketing skills, so I had to follow the market. Yeah. So I said, instead of saying this industry is messed up and there's low success rate, we started creating something that actually has high success rate. So I knew that my calls had high success rate.
Right.
We had something like 40% success rate on one-on-one calls. It was without a system, without anything. It was mostly discovery calls, just relatively cheap coaching calls. So I wanted to turn that into a very high success rate, a more scalable business model. So to do that, I added all my clients to a community instead of just doing one-on-one. I added the community to the group, and we standardized the business model. And then eventually the business model got to a level where it's so valuable and so successful, and the community got to a level where it's so valuable and successful to its members that members started inviting their family, friends, everyone. And my little YouTube channel, which is still little, by the way, people who are watching it are so incredibly targeted, qualified, and awesome that I don't need a big following, right? So to make mid six figures, I don't need a big following. I can do it with a small following, because most people watching it, they're extremely bought in and interested in getting these types of results in business. So you look at guys like Tal Lopez, etc. Maybe they have a certain success rate with their clients, but the primary focus is, of course, it's a business and needs to make as much money as possible early on. Now, honestly, I didn't have the skill to do all that. I didn't have the skill to build a super intricate funnel, spend $60 million on ads and so on. So we did it the other way around, focused first on the results of clients. And instead of me showing money that I have, we were talking about the results and the money that the clients have. And this was like, no one was doing this. No one was actually doing this at all. And I was looking also at really big companies. I was reading books about the founding of Amazon, stuff like that. The primary thing that I always found in all the books is the number one thing we're building is trust. And the more trust there is, the better business performs. So even with small audiences and so on, you can still have a successful business. So then we started getting more and more results, better business models, and it evolved to a point where we developed a system which is called the peer-to-peer mentorship system. Because at a certain point, members in the community,
they were teaching each other.
Now, they started becoming too rich. They made like too many millions of dollars, some of them. So they stopped coaching because no one could relate to them anymore. Right? A guy who just sold a company for $1.4 million, he's saying, well, you just get investors. You just go to the bank. You don't waste your own money. You get a bunch of people to work in sales for you. You build a boiler room full of sales guys, close sales, et cetera, et cetera. Guys who just joined, they're like 17-year-old guy straight out of high school. He's like, what are you talking about? I want to have my first sale. So instead of doing that, instead of doing the super high level stuff that doesn't make any sense to a beginner, we started taking the members who are in the middle somewhere, and they started coaching some of our beginners. And then the beginners started getting crazy results. So we had guys actually going from beginner to 7 figures themselves.
That's nice. That's really good.
Yes.
That's really good. And I think it took a lot of a load of the work. It took it from you, and it empowered your students a lot more by them teaching the beginners.
They were better at teaching the beginners. Like my work, whatever. They were like, it's not about me. They were better at. They spend half an hour a week or an hour a week. They're better at helping someone who just starts out. I can't relate to some of the problems, like my mother is knocking on my door and I'm trying to get work done. I can't relate to that. It's not
Yeah.
within my reality. It's hard to understand. But for a beginner, of course, it makes sense. Move out, whatever you have to tell the beginner. The intermediate guy knows how to do that. So we built a system, a step-by-step system, where the people below always get pulled up by the people above, but also the people above get a lot of value because they become better at what they're doing themselves by teaching it. Your brain starts working better, you become smarter, you become better at understanding what you're actually doing and simplifying things. And at the same time, you're better able to deal with team members, and you can build business partnerships inside the mastermind. There's a lot of status involved with guys who are coaching as well, right? So this is a community. It's a movement. It's a new education system for entrepreneurs. It's no longer a top-down education system where some old idiot who's never run a business or ran a business 20 years ago or is an employee in a business, right? It's not those guys teaching anymore. It's the guys who are just a little bit ahead of you and can pull you up that little bit so you can get pulled up by the next person, and so on.
Awesome.
If that's what you desire. Because not everyone wants to make the $1 million. Some people want to make just $100,000. Some people want to make $5,000 a month. So there's people at all the levels, and we have people training at all the levels, and we're turning into a more and more standardized, better system to the point where it can be a huge movement right now.
So what would you say is like the main challenge for students who, they're starting their business, maybe they have a level of success, but then they have to let go of the mentality that they're using in order to upgrade their business, right? How do they make the shift from thinking like a freelancer that they need to do everything themselves towards orienting, in applying systems to their businesses and processes?
Standard process in DBH is you start outsourcing from the bottom up. That means you first take the simple tasks that are easy to outsource.
Yes.
Once you reach $5,000 a month, you can start doing that. So you're hiring assistants to outsource, for example, lead generation. Very simple. So we teach them how to do that. That means it's easy to learn how to outsource because they're outsourcing a very simple task. Then they outsource a slightly more complicated task. Again, it's a step-by-step process, right? Eventually, you can outsource complicated processes like sales because they are good at sales. You need to be good at sales if you want to outsource sales effectively. But if you tell them from day one to do it, they don't have the recruitment, communication, so on skills to actually do that. So you build it step by step. First, you outsource the easy stuff, and then eventually you outsource delivery, sales, and so on. So, and as people build more and more automated businesses, they're able to spend more of their actual time on the $1,000 per hour plus tasks. So the guys who are spending time on the $1,000 per hour and plus tasks, or $10,000 per hour tasks in some cases, they end up making much more money.
Yeah, I love that.
Investment, let's say ROI is much higher than the guys who are doing administrative work.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and you're actually minimizing risk as well because you're giving, you're outsourcing the simple tasks to begin with.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
And entrepreneurs don't want to do the administration, and entrepreneurs do not want to do accounting, and entrepreneurs do not want to do paperwork of any kind. Entrepreneurs do not want to follow up on payments. Entrepreneurs do not want to be stuck in the mud trying to make their company super simple processes work. Entrepreneurs want to create new processes and do high-level tasks that make the most money.
Absolutely. And guys, leave a comment below in the comment section and let us know if that sounds good to you. If you're doing everything yourself and you're driving yourself crazy with these with the paperwork, with generating leads and so on and so forth. Let us know if what Alex was saying is enticing to you. Awesome. So let's say that I decide to automate my business, right, and apply these systems. Wouldn't I need to create the procedures before outsourcing even like the low risk tasks like generating leads? How important is it to have some recipes, some procedures already written out?
The guys who do it themselves early on in the first $5,000 per month path in their business, the first 5 to 8 weeks, for example, doing it themselves, once they give it to an assistant, they get on a call like this and record the call explaining how they do the task. And then they put the call in a Google Drive, and the process is outsourced.
Excellent.
Not only the process outsourced, but the training of the process is outsourced. And that's how it works with all processes.
Yeah, that's actually very quick. Yeah, I was thinking more in terms of writing it down, but yeah, that makes a lot more sense. It's just like
For most people, like I don't want to write anything down. Why would I do that if I can spend 25 minutes on a call? Just before this call, at a call, I taught someone what it took me 10 years to figure out how to outsource using a process. So almost anyone can outsource, even relatively complicated tasks.
Right.
And long-term success from employees and get employees to stay around for a long time. So we turned that into I think it's like a 8 or 9 step process. So I just taught a complete beginner. He's like 19 or 20 years old. I just taught him how to take that process from me in 25 minutes. Why would I need to write anything down? I just recorded our conversation, added to Google Drive. That's it.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it saves a lot of time, and I think it delivers the information a lot more clearly. Cool. So how do you actually, keep or teach your students to keep their employees?
How do we teach students to keep employees? The easiest is to have the right hiring process and select for the right personality types that stay long. For example, we have employees take DISC and Young typology tests, which help you determine their personality types to a very granular, detailed level. You know that, and then you interview them, only the top guys, of course, based on their previous experience. You follow a little bit of the top grading method from the book Top Grading.
Yeah.
You know from their history, if someone quits their job every 6 months and drops everything, disappears, and literally burns the house after they leave the house, you don't want to work with that person, right? Whereas if they have a long history of working for a long time for companies, there's a low chance that they're going to leave you, especially if they're 30 plus, usually for most tasks, and they're very stable. They have a family. They don't want to go anything. They're not going to disappear. They're just going to be there, and they want to succeed. And they're essentially if you don't mind me being rude a little bit, their kids are shouting, "Feed me, feed me!" Like they're going to work. So like have like managers or anything like that. We hired a person who doesn't need a manager. We hired a person who wants to be an entrepreneur. They can have their side hustle. Everyone I work with has a business. I don't work with employees. I don't work with people who don't want to own a business. They join. I can tell if they want to own a business. They don't have to own a business when they join. Just by the fact that we select the people who have the entrepreneurial spirit, they will build a business eventually. I've never worked with anyone who hasn't started a business eventually, even if originally it wasn't their specifically stated plan.
That's awesome. So you're actually helping them with their business. That's like part of the deal of working together. And I'm guessing you're not afraid that they're going to...
It is not a part of the deal when working together. I don't tell them to help them with their business. It's just the whole movement is about building a business. So they naturally start a business, and I don't help them necessarily.
So what usually happens when they do start a business and they need to leave the job? Do they usually leave the job, or do they keep both businesses and work?
I prefer working with people who want to have a side hustle. So if they want to build a really big business and they run out of time, there's a process to replace them, and they help replacing themselves. Problem if you work with 8 players. However, if someone does leave, they leave. Like I'm not going to stop them. I'm going to say, "Cool, please build a really big business and give me a testimonial or something that you started here."
Yeah, awesome.
And stay in the mastermind. Like join our mastermind. We'll help you.
Cool. So what changed for you when you went fully into that business owner mentality? What changed in your personal life?
I went to the business owner mentality immediately after I failed in business for the first 2 years. So even when I had to get the 8-month job, I changed into the business owner mentality. So what changed for me was I took full responsibility for everything. I ignored most social constructs like email this guy but not this guy because he's your boss. Or I didn't stop caring about all that kind of shit. I just started doing what's right to make the business grow. So I gave the 100% in all future projects, everything I do. I behaved 100% like the business owner, and no one ever got angry. No one, I mean, like some random people who don't really matter, maybe sometimes, but almost no one ever got angry, and everyone was super happy, and everyone wanted me to stay and not leave and keep working with them forever. Ever since then, and almost every person I ever worked with, like 9 out of 10 people, I could still call them, ask them for advice, ask them for a favor, ask them to sleep in their second bedroom, anything I want, I'll get it because I didn't fuck them over when I left. And then it's clients, not just the one job that I had as an adult.
Nice, got it. So you can have like this business owner mentality even if you are working at a job right now. What would you say?
I do recommend it though. If you want to, what I could have done is, there's better solutions to this. You do not get a job. Like if you want to be a business owner, do not get a job. If you're in a job right now, allocate 20 plus hours a week to building a business. The job is not going to teach you anything valuable that you can't learn in a short amount of time in business. Allocate at least 20 hours a week. When you make 1 or 2 sales and you can more or less replace your income with a business or at least even freelancing, get the hell out of a job. A job is a prison for people that makes them placid, weak, and pretty much makes them stuck in where they are. Because it's a system to make you addicted to the paycheck. And as you keep getting the paycheck and keep spending the paycheck like a consumer, you are digging a grave and becoming a slave for life. So don't do jobs. Just because I said I learned something and I became an entrepreneur in a job doesn't mean that you should get a job. Anyone listening to this, do not get jobs if you can avoid it. Even freelancing, at least you learn sales, at least you learn how to deal with clients, at least you learn delivery, at least you learn the valuable skills, not just copy-paste work and simple process following, work very little influence on the process. Only high-level jobs have any influence, allow you any influence on the processes. Only high-level jobs allow you to choose what you learn and progress quickly. Certain big companies do it well, but most don't do it terribly. So most jobs suck, and even in high-level jobs, in many situations, even if you can get a high-level job, like let's say becoming a board member or like vice president of whatever in a billionaire company, even then, I would prefer building a business over that.
Absolutely. I remember when I quit my job, I don't know, it was like the colors were different, the air was different. I felt like just escaped from prison or something like that. It's not worth it. Cool.
What were you doing exactly back then?
Oh, don't ask.
Okay.
I just want to leave that behind me. Awesome. So a lot of people are afraid of building big businesses or thinking big because they think, you know what, if I change my mentality, my friends are not going to like me anymore. And if people are not going to like me, they're not going to love me anymore, right? Do you have to deal with that with your clients, and how do they actually, if that is the case, like what's the process for them to get over the mentality of, you know what, people are going to say I changed, I'm going to lose this or that, get over the fear of success, if you'd like.
Friends are people who support you in what you do, and if they don't, find new friends. I'll give you friends. Like there's hundreds of people I can connect you with. They're better friends. And your existing friends, give them 1 or 2 chances. They don't want to get along with the program, too bad. It includes family, by the way. Not that I don't talk to my family or anything anymore, but if I hear negative stuff, I tell them stop it, or I won't talk to you more than once a month. It's the way it is.
Yeah. I remember, I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah. It's about having control over your life and control over, like, you can't be stuck in a certain situation in your life where people have too much control over you by the way they think about you. It's not acceptable. That's not a growth mentality. It's a low-level survival mentality that guarantees job slavery. So, yeah.
It is. I remember it was 2 years ago. I paid for this business course with this millionaire that came over from the States, right? But I forgot it was in the same weekend as my best friend from high school's wedding. And I thought to myself, if he's my best friend, he would want me to be happy and he would want me to be successful. So I went to the damn business course. he didn't like it, but that's the truth, right? If they're happy for you, if they're really your friends, they will support you. They're gonna be like, screw my wedding, go and be happy, right? And a lot of people are I think they have a very hard time making choices like this. They find it a bit extreme.
Yeah, it's most people just aren't meant to be in business. And I mean, anyone listening to this, I'm sure this doesn't apply to you. Otherwise, would be even looking this stuff up on the internet or
yeah, absolutely,
right? But most people in the world, they're so down deep into the rabbit hole that it's just too late for them, to be honest. And they can get out of it. If you want to make it your life purpose to get people out of it, good luck. It's pretty hard. What's easier is to get people who still are in a positive mindset, growth mindset for life. They want to work for life. They don't want to retire. They don't want to like sit in a chair and do nothing forever. Like the people who actually want to work their ass off within reason while having a balanced life, of course, and build something awesome, travel the world, have awesome adventures, freedom, whatever you want. Those are the people that, I like to focus on to build businesses. People who just want a cushy job and guaranteed anything, just guarantee doesn't exist. Like it's a complete illusion, right? I grew up in Belgium. I sometimes just open up the front page of some newspaper online. I don't really read like what's inside or anything like that. But it's like, oh, in this city, the pension system has collapsed.
Yeah.
So the cost of this throughout the country over the next 3-4 years is going to be $10 billion, 10 billion euros. The country only has 10 million people living there. That's a lot of money. It's a big cost of something collapsing.
Yeah.
So who's going to, like, eventually, now their taxes are like 55%. Are they going to increase the tax to 60, 70? What are they going to do?
Probably.
So that's the system that people are stuck in. And it relies on growth. And if it's not growing fast enough, then all those so-called safety nets, guarantees, they just disappear immediately. So all the safety and all the stuff that people talk about when they talk about jobs, it's pretty much an illusion. Yes, you do get to take the money home after you pay the tax, but you put it on a bank account and it immediately starts devaluating because of inflation. Right? And if you don't invest in something that you understand, preferably your own business, then there could be a stock market collapse. It could be something that makes you lose the money anyway. Oh, you're paying all the taxes so you get healthcare. I pay $100 per month for my healthcare. It's called private health insurance. Never had a problem. Always got paid by them. Never had a problem. Why would I need to pay 55% tax rate? That's why I live in a country where we have lower tax rate. It's perfectly legal. Anyone can do that in Europe, for example. I'm from Europe, right? So if you're from North America, you have other solutions. So the solution is to plug it out of the system and realize that the system is smoke and mirrors. It's never worked in history for a long period of time to just give people stuff and let some central magical authority control everything. It's never worked.
Yeah,
I tried times. It's never worked.
I think a lot of the people tuning in are well aware of that, and that's probably one of the main reasons why they started a business or they're thinking of switching from freelancing to having their own business. However, they're kind of stuck to making the same amount as every year, like 5 years in the past. They're just basically doing the same thing because of this fear of, what do I do? Will I fail as a business owner? Will I lose some people in my life, and so on and so forth. But the fact is, it's always going to be scarier if you don't take the next step and keep growing, because there is no point where you're just like being the same every year, right? You're either going up or you're going down. Does that make sense? Cool. What are some of the cool things that you're doing now with your life, with your free time? How are you enjoying
I kind of stopped traveling all the time, but I still make little trips. So now I'm in Kiev. There's some business here, but it's also awesome, sunny. It's 30 degrees Celsius, believe it or not. Going to awesome restaurants here. You don't even need to eat inside here because it's like one of those countries where you just go to restaurants, spend like $10, you get massive steaks and amazing vegetables and everything.
Yeah,
And
you're actually close by because I'm in Bucharest right now. Yeah.
awesome. Well, you should visit sometime here. I won't be here very long. Just a trip. And then there's so many entrepreneurs here because jobs here, you basically have barely any jobs here in terms of like security and everything. So what they do here is they just give you cash. I talked to some people who work. They just give you cash here, so they don't have to actually hire you.
Yeah.
It's all under the table kind of stuff. So maybe something similar happens in Romania. I don't really know, but although Romania is European Union, it's probably better, right? So you have a lot of people here into entrepreneurship, and even though I'm here partially just for fun, I just keep bumping into all these like famous boxers, entrepreneurs, guys who own telecom companies. I'm not even trying; they're just everywhere. It just this place draws them in because it's a little bit Wild West here. It's awesome.
I think Lomachenko is from Ukraine, right?
Who is that?
Vasily Lomachenko. He's like the #1 boxer right now. Yeah.
I'm not. My friend is into boxing. That's why I know something, but I don't know.
Yeah, he absolutely knows about Lomachenko. Great. Alex, what are some of the stuff that you're doing for people who are, more into or have very tough situations? These could be like some of your free content that you're giving out, or maybe it's like some donations that you're giving out. How are you helping people who are not business owners and who, need a hand?
People who are not business owners, check out my YouTube channel. Just type in Vitkin, Aleksander Vitkin, or just my last name into YouTube. There's free content. There's hundreds of videos, hundreds. You could pretty much start a business based on that. If you don't want to spend too much time and you want to make things go faster and get real help, then you can message me on Facebook, and I'll try hooking you up with something better than that. Other than that, I also have a free training. If you'd like to, we actually created a free training where we discuss the 5 changes that people need to make in their lives to actually build a business. Just go to my website, vitkin.net, vitkin.net, and just sign up and watch the free training. And other than that, if you're asking, people are completely not interested in business, I'm donating to charity about 15% of the money that I make right now.
Awesome.
So personally, not my business, of course. So I'm donating to a cancer charity. I think they're also involved with what's his name again? Like the most famous MMA guy. What's his name again? I'm really bad. McGregor, yeah, he's involved with this as well. So it's a charity in the United States. I'm donating to those. They help families with cancer. I would give you the URL, but their website is like this long. So if you want to find, you pretty much have to just message me on Facebook or something like that.
No problem, guys. You'll find both links in the description, guys. Both for Alex's website, which I absolutely recommend you check out, especially if you're thinking of starting your own business. And I'll post a link for this charity as well. Awesome. I'm excited about that, about sharing this stuff. Cool. Alex, thank you so much for your time, and I really, really appreciate your insights. I love the precision that you're using when you're talking about these concepts. It just goes to show that you really know your stuff.
Well, thanks, Bogdan. Really nice being on your channel here. Or where are we right now? What is this?
We're both on YouTube and on my podcast.
Okay, awesome. Well, most people can't see all my hand gestures there. That's probably for the best.
Yeah. This is very interesting and a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun for me talking about this stuff. It's definitely useful, and it's stuff that will absolutely apply more in my business.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for having me, and everyone watching this. Thank you for listening or watching or both. And please build a business. The world needs more entrepreneurs.
I agree. Awesome, guys. Go ahead and check out Alex's website. Let us know in the comment section. Oh, and I almost forgot. What would you like to ask everyone listening in? If you could ask them one question, what would that be?
How do we abandon scarcity mentality? So the question that I have is, let's abandon the thing where we think that we have a magical idea that no one can know, because one day we'll build a business. So what I'd like you to do is abandon the idea that you need a business idea completely. It does not exist. You do not need an idea to start a business. Write down your current best idea to start a business in the comments to prove that you're abandoning this mindset. Once you abandon this mindset that you have a secret little thing in your mind, if only one day you implement it, then you're more likely to start actually working on something that works. So post very best business idea. The thing that you didn't want to tell anyone else, even your mother, post it in the comments below.
I love that. That's a great challenge. And Gary Vee talks about this a lot, right? He says, ideas aren't worth anything. What matters is the execution of that idea. Awesome. Great question. Okay, guys, let us know your answers in the comment section, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.